Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're diving into something that can literally make or break a career, yet it's almost never taught once you get past the basics. We're talking about the true mechanics of professional English. You can think of your professional reputation as a two-sided coin. On one side, you've got the substance, that precise, advanced vocabulary you absolutely need to describe complex business situations accurately. But on the flip side, you've got the style, the tonal mechanics that ensure your message lands exactly how you intend it to. And honestly, mastering both the right words and the perfect tone, that is exactly what separates a competent speaker from a highly persuasive global professional. Okay, let's take a quick look at our roadmap. We're going to cover the business communication challenge, building advanced vocabulary, and navigating the corporate workplace. Then, we'll contrast formal and informal English, perfect the professional email, and finally, put it all into practice. Section 1, the business communication challenge. Let's start by looking at a very specific anxiety that almost every professional in a global environment has felt at least once in their career. So, be honest with me here. Have you ever drafted an email to your boss, or maybe a brand new client, hovered your mouse over the send button in a state of mild panic, and thought, wait, does this sound too casual? Or maybe the exact opposite. Am I being too stiff? Look, if you've been there, you are absolutely not alone. According to our source material from Live English, this is one of the most common anxieties professionals face today. Even super advanced learners of the English language struggle with striking this exact balance every single day. Your grammar could be 100% flawless, but somehow the tone just feels off. Well, the solution to this whole anxiety actually comes down to mastering one specific linguistic concept, and that is register. Register is basically the level of formality or informality in your language, and it's totally determined by the relationship between the speakers and the context of the situation. Think of register as the critical missing link in your toolkit. It's not the what of communication, it's the how. It's like this invisible rulebook that dictates whether your message lands perfectly and builds rapport or totally misses the mark and causes offense, simply because it didn't match the social vibe of the room. Section 2, building advanced business vocabulary. All right, so now that we've got a handle on the challenge of register, let's flip to the first side of our coin, the substance, making sure we're actually using the right words. To really figure this out, we're going to draw on a fantastic, highly credible source for our foundation. It's the Business Vocabulary and Advanced Textbook by Bill Mescal, published by Cambridge University Press. Now, this is not just some random list of corporate jargon. No way. It is a meticulously researched guide built specifically for advanced learners who need English to navigate really complex and sometimes even controversial modern business issues. And what makes this particular resource so unique is its methodology. See, Cambridge doesn't just guess what business people are saying out there. They actually rely on a massive database of real-world corporate usage. They use this searchable corpus where they analyze the business pages of major newspapers, they scan advanced textbooks, and they even review transcripts of actual real-world business meetings and discussions. From that incredible mountain of data, they pinpoint the typical word combinations and frequencies that professionals are actually using in the field right now. It's pretty amazing. Section 3, navigating the corporate workplace. Let's see how all this data translates into the precise language people use on the job every single day. Take this real-world example straight from the Cambridge corpus. It's an aircraft engineer talking about their day-to-day. They say, I work on research and development of new aircraft. I love putting ideas into practice. I like the teamwork and the sense of achievement. Notice the really specific, positive business vocabulary going on here? Phrases like research and development, putting ideas into practice, and sense of achievement. This right here is the substance of professional language. It's precise, it's action-oriented, and it clearly articulates their value in a professional setting. But here is where it gets really interesting, the direct contrast. This exact same engineer uses equally advanced vocabulary to describe the, well, frustrating parts of their job. They talk about that universal dread of feeling chained to a desk or drowning in admin and paperwork. They say they're feeling snowed under, which is just the perfect way to describe having way too much to do. And they highlight systemic issues too, using terms like bureaucracy and red tape, those rigid procedures that just drag everything down. So, mastering advanced business English really means having the vocabulary to articulate your successes, but also your operational roadblocks. Section 4, formal versus informal English. Okay, we've got our substance. Now let's flip the coin over to the style. Mechanically speaking, these two styles are vastly different beasts. Informal English relies heavily on contractions like don't, it uses a ton of phrasal verbs, shorter sentences, and very direct statements. Formal English, on the other hand, prefers full words like do not, single word Latin-based verbs, longer, much more complete sentences, and heavily softened requests. Now, I really want to stress this. Neither of these is better English. They are simply different tools for different jobs. Using the wrong tool in the wrong place is what actually damages your professional image. You know, the biggest trap for even highly fluent speakers is the phrasal verb. Casual phrases like, can you look into this, or can we put this off, rely entirely on these multi-word verbs. And sure, native speakers use them constantly in everyday chat, but they are a massive, blinking neon sign of informal English. If you rely too heavily on them in official writing, you run a serious risk of sounding unpolished or just way too casual. So, making a simple mechanical swap can instantly elevate your writing. Instead of asking someone to look into an issue, try asking them to investigate it. Instead of putting off a meeting, postpone it. Come up with beautifully transforms into devise, and get back to becomes respond to. It's a tiny, tiny shift, right? But the impact it has on your professional register is absolutely massive. Section 5. Perfecting the professional email. Now let's apply all of this to the one arena where register mistakes happen the most. Honestly, one of the most crucial skills in formal email rating is the art of the softened request. So let's walk through this softening technique step by step. Step 1, the direct command. Send the report. Yikes, right? That is way too harsh for almost any workplace. Step 2, we make it a question. Can you send the report? Okay, a bit better, but still pretty blunt. Step 3 is the formal ideal. I was wondering if you could possibly send over the report. See what happened there? By adding those extra filler words to soften the approach, you completely remove that aggressive edge. And this technique is absolutely essential when you're emailing senior colleagues or important clients. All right, let's run through some rapid-fire do's and don'ts for formal emails to make sure your structure matches that new softened tone. Do open with dear for a first message to someone senior. Don't use hi or hey for initial client emails. It's just a bit too buddy-buddy. Do swap out that demanding I want to for the much more professional I would like to. And finally, do close with kind regards or best regards, and definitely save cheers for the pub, not the official client sign-off. I wanted to highlight these structural swaps because they subtly shift your tone and keep you from accidentally sounding way too casual. Section 6. Putting it into practice. We've covered the vocabulary, we've nailed the mechanics. Now let's build this into your daily routine. Next time you're staring at a blank email draft and you're just totally unsure of how to proceed, remember the safest default rule. When in doubt, lean slightly more formal. If you're talking to a client you've known for a bit, or a colleague in that tricky middle ground of being a peer but slightly more senior, just start with formal English. I really want to emphasize this. It is so much easier to start out formal and relax your language later than it is to try and recover from starting a really important relationship too casually. Being a little too polite carries a much, much smaller social cost than coming off as careless. The Cambridge textbook uses this great over-to-you philosophy, and I want to challenge you to apply it today. First, identify your listener's relationship to you. Second, choose the correct register based on that relationship. That's your style. Third, pick out the precise advanced industry vocabulary you need. That's your substance. And finally, when a situation feels ambiguous, just let the other person set the tone over time. If you send a formal email and they reply with a super casual one, guess what? You have total permission to match their register in your next message. So, as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a question to chew on regarding your own habits. If your professional reputation truly is a two-sided coin of precise substance and perfectly calibrated style, are your current emails actually projecting the expert you truly are? Take a quick scroll through your sent folder today, apply these structural swaps, and make sure your language is working exactly as hard as you are. Thanks so much for learning with us, and keep elevating your communication.